Okay, Zoomers. Nope, I'm super here by myself. So, hey guys, welcome to OK Zoomers. Here's the deal. I was thinking about something this week in my own life that I wanted to have a discussion about. I thought it was worthy, and it's a little bit of an elephant in the room, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have maybe even never seen the elephant in your room. Obviously, we're spending a lot of time at home, and what I imagine that translates to is a lot of time on screens. Now, before you just write me off as another boomer talking about being on screens too much, I want to remind you that I'm actually in the same generation as you, and I also spend plenty of time on a screen. So this is really some thoughts from someone that is on the same road as you, but just trying to be aware of what's going on. So I've been on this journey for a little bit, thinking about screen time and what it does, and I wanted to bring you some facts from actual studies. And this is not like me trying to scare you with a bunch of facts. I'm not going to be, it's not about the numbers and that kind of stuff, but rather I'm trying to bring you into this conversation so that we're thinking about it. And this clinical study from Harvard talked about the neurological connections that we make when our brains are developing as young people, right? So every time you use something, the connection is made and the connection is maintained as you continue to use it. But when we're doing a lot of this kind of interaction and getting a lot of our input from screens, there are tons of connections that aren't the same as if we were doing some of the similar things in reality. And so some of the development of our brain is actually being affected and slowed down by doing more things on screens than in reality, which is kind of crazy. And in that study also, they talked about how the lack of sleep that comes from being on screens and stuff at night, that also has a similar effect on our brain development. Both of those things, not stellar facts, right? We also know from loads of studies that there is a direct correlation between amount of screen time after it reaches above a certain cap with levels of depression. And there's, I'm sure, tons of other factors contributing to that, but the fact that there's such a direct correlation between those two is pretty staggering. But you know what else is real, as well as those facts, are the fact that your school is now online. And when you used to spend 7 hours a day at school with your friends, that probably now has to be online, right? And so all of these things that you used to get to experience in person are now shifting in this time of quarantine. And so I want to tell you that, we understand. And there should be some grace and some leeway when it comes to the fact that we simply don't have the opportunities that we had pre-quarantine to make some of these things a reality. And so if you're spending a lot of time on screens and you're feeling it, if you're one of those people who can feel when they've been on a screen for a long time, give yourself a little bit of break, because you're having to do school and your social interaction, which is so vital. If it can't happen in person, where are you supposed to find it? I know for some of you guys, and you get that screen time notification on Sunday or whatever, and your heart just kind of sinks. I feel that. I'm right there with you. But it's all about balance. And that's really what the crux of what I want to talk about here is that it's all about balance. When you take these things that have to be online and the benefits of the things that we get to experience online versus the detriments of that and the benefits of reality and the physical world around us, it's all about balance. And so I want to give you a couple of just quick pointers, some helpful tips to strive towards that balance and see if it doesn't help you this week when you're thinking about your screen time. So tip number 1, give yourself a real world break for every hour that you have to spend on your screen. So if you did an hour's worth of schoolwork, jump up for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, go outside and sit down, or go sit in a chair on your porch or something, or take a walk. Go talk to one of your family members, right? Just pull yourself out of the screen for a sec just to take a deep breath. That is a great first step. I know for me, when I'm working from home and having to write stuff on a screen or edit video or stuff like that, I try to at least every hour get up, walk around. My wife and I go for a walk or something, and that helps me be, one, more productive in the time that I do have to spend on a screen, and also keep from getting that just weary kind of feeling from being on it all day. Second tip, if you're with a human, be with a human. And so like if you're in person, whether it's a family member or a friend that you get to see or something like that, and you get to have an in-person conversation, don't interrupt that or take away from that by also being on your phone or something like that. I know that I've been guilty of this a ton, even recently when I've gotten to have like some in-person interactions, and then I find myself on my phone and I'm like, oh, what am I doing? This is like such a good thing that I get to have right now. I want to be here and be in the moment. And so be in the moment when you get the opportunity to. And if you're with a human, be with that human. Seriously, just try it. There's lots of other tips that we could talk about, whether that's knowing your limit, right? And setting like a limit for your day, saying like, I'm not going to spend more than this amount of time, or making sure that your time that you're on a screen is in a social way, being with people and that kind of thing. But I wanted to just throw a couple of those things out there that were tangible so that you could think about it this week as you're undoubtedly having to engage lots and lots with screens. So when we're seeking to live lives for the Lord, we want to do that in a way that is balanced and in moderation, just like everything else. So thanks for tuning in this week, guys. Hope this helps you think about your screen time in a totally unprecedented time in our nation's history. So thanks for tuning in. Okay, Zoomers. Doesn't work as well when I'm by myself, does it? Oh well.
On the way now. We've been on the stage in a playground. Not enough we change on the way. We are going easy every day now.